Why do the prices of houses keep continuing up? And why aren't we seeing more supply? These are the two most common questions we're getting these days. Hey guys, Jake Breen here with Team Utah Cribs at Berkshire Hathaway Utah Properties. So we're mid-March 2022, and those are the two most common questions we're getting from buyers. And although people are pretty attuned these days as to market appreciation and what the market's done the last few years and how expensive things are and inflation, they often forget that there are many factors that go into the supply and pricing. And quite frankly, if simple economics, supply is very low and there's a lot of demand, then pricing goes up. But that's not the only factor. There's a lot of micro and macroeconomic factors in migration, unemployment percentages, the indices that track people's income versus payment. And these are many things we can explore. In fact, today, in about 35 minutes, my good friend Josh Metal and I are going to do a Facebook Live event that'll be an hour long, where he has built a phenomenal presentation that really answers this in depth. But I'm just filming a quick little video here for our clientele to explain one factor that I think is key and that everyone needs to understand. And follow me on the way I'm going to display this to you, because here's what a lot of people do. They just look at this graph. This graph is showing you single family home median price in Salt Lake County, comparing fourth quarter from 1996 all the way to fourth quarter 2021. So this is an annual number. So fourth quarter in 1996, the median home price in Salt Lake County was $133,000. And today, just ending fourth quarter 2021, it was $555,000. Now, if you just look at that line, most people would say, oh my gosh, the bubble's gonna burst. Look what it's done coming out of the recession. Fourth quarter 2011, median price is $195,000. And now we are well over double only 10 years later. Okay, but there's more to the story. If we then examine one other factor, which is you are now staring at same time frames, 1996 to 2021, fourth quarter comparison. This is the number of single family homes that came on the market in that fourth quarter. So you can see right when we were about to go into the recession, there was a high supply of housing. There was over 6,000 homes in Salt Lake County that came on the market in one quarter. And now we are back down almost as low as 1996 in 2021, with far greater population in our city, with only 2,442 homes on the market. That's one other factor. Okay, and I know I'm showing you these just in one-offs. Here is a third factor. People go, well, what's actually selling? How much is sold? Well, this is those exact same time frames, and the black line is showing you the number of homes that sold in that given quarter. Are you seeing some similarities or perhaps some opposites in the way these lines went? All right, let's bring it all home. Here's the point. You can't look at just one factor and make a conclusion. If you take all three of these factors and go, all right, here's the number of homes that came on the market. Black line is the number of homes that sold. And the blue line is where pricing went, how appreciation occurred. You can visually see, even if you don't can't view the numbers, that when we have high supply and very few people buying, pricing declines, which is what we saw from 2007 to 2011. However, in 2012, which was an amazing year when I look back on it for a lot of reasons, even though pricing had barely increased early 2012, the green and the black lines touched for the first time since 1996, 1997. And what happened when that occurred? boom, then we start seeing pricing increase. In other words, when we are selling everything that comes on the market in any quarter, pricing increases. There's low supply and high demand. And that trend, unfortunately, has continued for a decade. Look how often the green and black lines touch or cross each other. So that's the lesson for today, folks. I know that there's global issues going on. There's a lot of discussions being had about where things go economically. And I'm not an expert at those things, but I will tell you, when it comes to Salt Lake County and the supply of housing, there are currently no signs that that supply is just really going to increase. A bunch of foreclosures flooding the market like they did in 2008, 9, 10, forget about it. Unless there's some absolute unforeseen calamity that's going to hit all of us globally. No factors point to that. New construction housing at current price of everything, it's not just unlikely. We already have projections in the future. We know what's been permitted. We're not going to see a flood of new construction housing. So this low supply environment with high demand, because we are one of the #1 in migration and job growth markets in the United States, and have been for like a decade now, with all of those factors hitting us, we aren't going to see supply quickly increase and pricing come down. Having said that, yes, for the first time in a couple years, I've started to see a tiny bit of breathing room. It's still extremely competitive. You got to do all these, jump through these crazy hoops to try to get a house. But I've seen a couple price reductions. I've seen people ringing the bell saying we can't go any higher. But then somebody comes from another state and still pays that higher price. So unfortunately, this environment continues. And I know that is difficult news to hear for buyers, but we understand. We work with people all the time that are going through the same emotions and motions in their home purchasing process. And we know how to help you navigate it. So we educate you so that you can make an educated decision when it comes to your real estate.